Imagine being the voice of a revolution and then walking away from the very machine you helped build. Zack de la Rocha, Rage Against the Machine's frontman, wasn't just singing about rebellion. He lived it.
He knows that poor people in the U.S. are not going to continue to suffer in the way that they suffer without taking action against them.
But what if I told you the most radical thing he ever did wasn't on stage, but in silence? This is the story of a man who never stopped fighting even when his body did. For years, Rage was the biggest political band in the world.
And why the fuck are these cops so afraid of us? Are they afraid of us? Yeah!
They were soundtracking protests, riots, and revolutions. Zack was the voice of the oppressed. But Zack wasn't a rock star born with a silver spoon. He grew up in East LA and moved to Irvine, California at 6 years old, where he experienced firsthand the racism of his Chicano people.
You know, I was a Mexicano in a part of the country where I was the exception to the rule, because most Mexicanos in Orange County were there because they had a broom or a hammer in their hands. I had a deep sense of frustration and alienation I experienced growing up in a very conservative community, very racist, very conservative community.
Zack grew up in a Mexican-American household with a father who was a renowned Chicano artist and a political activist who painted about police brutality and social injustice. Zack learned early that principles matter more than profit. But when Zack was a kid, he watched his father burn his own artwork, destroying his identity in front of his eyes. It actually helped shape Zack's rage, his refusal to be controlled, his lifelong war against oppression. Listen, he carried that rage into his music, into Rage Against the Machine, but maybe, just maybe, he may have carried too much. After their album, The Battle of Los Angeles, went triple platinum, Zack found himself on stage at Coachella looking at 100,000 fans. That night, he realized the revolution he'd been preaching had been packaged, marketed, and sold back to the masses. Zack felt like the band had become the very thing they were fighting against. Corporate deals, MTV, major labels making millions off anti-establishment music. So what did he do? He disappeared from the public eye to reconnect with grassroots activism.
These people are known as the Zapatistas.
If we can acknowledge our power by putting our fists up in the air.
Think about that. A guy who could have made millions chose to fight for injustices wherever he could. Then on just the second night of their reunion tour, disaster struck. Halfway through a show in Chicago, his Achilles tendon snapped. Torn, the kind of injury that ends careers. He sat down in the middle of the stage and kept going. For the rest of the night, Zack de la Rocha performed while completely broken and injured. He walked away from his own band when it didn't feel right. He played through the worst pain of his life when he knew his fans needed him. Zack de la Rocha didn't stop, even when he physically couldn't. I'm E.G. the Activated Mexican. Follow for more Untold Stories.